GRAIL fragrances in my collection.
You have proved yourself worthy.
My definition of GRAIL fragrances might be different from yours. My GRAIL fragrances have different attributes about them. It could be exclusivity, like it's discontinued, limited release, you can't get it anymore, and if you can, you're paying a premium dollar, so I'm kind of holding on to them. Nostalgia, maybe it reminds me of a beautiful memory, something amazing, something that I just want to smell and recapture that event or that moment in time. That's kind of what makes things a GRAIL for me. Price point, sex appeal, there's different variants here, but these are important scents to me that I like, I enjoy, that means something to me, or are just overall sexy that I will always need and want in my collection. Let's roll my music so I can put you on to 8 GRAIL fragrances in my stash that maybe you can find, but it's gonna be tough.
We're all alone. Yeah, that's friends from the south side. In case you cared, out of all your friends, I wanna be
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. I'm gonna start off this video with a no-brainer, a Captain No Like, obviously, this is going to be on the list. I am most known for this fragrance. It's pretty much one of my signature, if not the signature piece that I know of. People already know blah, and they're fast forwarding because they're just like, Cuba, we know. You said it a million times. Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. I think what launched this whole obsession with this fragrance is not only that it just hits perfectly off of my DNA, but it was like initially, I think maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I experienced this scent and did a comparison between this and 𝐲𝐈𝐍𝐻𝑝, which was the king of the niche space at that time. I mean, it was reigning top tier. Even I was like, yo, 𝐲𝐈𝐍𝐻𝑝, wow. Then I smelled this shit and I was like, whoa. It's like stumbling into the Matrix. The way that this shit projected off of me, the scent sexiness cloud that was hovering around me, the reactions and compliments. I was in the office killing it. I can't even count the amount of compliments that I've gotten from this particular scent profile. The hype that this fragrance has gotten, not just because of me, but there's other influencers on the same boat that share that same sentiment. And I rarely find anybody who dislikes this fragrance or regrets buying it. So for me, Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo will forever be a GRAIL fragrance in my stash. Next one. Remember I mentioned exclusivity, sex appeal, and it's gotta have an overall package. Like, it's gotta be sexy, it's gotta be exclusive, maybe rare, maybe discontinued, and in this particular case, it hits all those little nuances that Pure Malt by Terry Mugler. The shit that used to be like, throw it in the bargain bin, it's cheap as shit, nobody cares about this scent profile. Now it's $200 something plus in the gray market. So much so that one of these was gifted to me by one of you guys. Shout out to Danny. That shit was a beautiful gesture. Just sent it off the strength of being a supporter and knowing how much I enjoy this fragrance. So this is the bottle that he recently sent over, and I'm gonna cherish it. This isn't a decant, this isn't a giveaway, this isn't nothing. This is a scent that I truly enjoy, truly love, and it's because of my ball sprayers that I have a secondary backup bottle. Beautiful, sexy, boozy, with its A-man DNA, which is this violet leaf petroleum hot roof tar situation that this scent has that just speaks to my skin in a different way. Obviously, nose-wise, yeah, super sexy, all that, right? But the magic of this shit on my skin and the fact that it's now discontinued and people are like, damn, bro, I had 2 bottles of that shit. I should have appreciated it more. I shouldn't have. I appreciate, I have it, and it's a GRAIL piece. Next one. This might be a surprise to some people, but it is a GRAIL piece in my collection. Nothing in my stash smells like this fragrance. Not before, not after, unless it's an inspired expression. Nothing is smelling like royal tobacco. What? This is a crazy scent. It's like the definition of rich, and I don't just mean in wealth, I mean in notes, density, thickness. It's like sometimes finding it difficult to breathe, like the air is just so thick, maybe based on altitude, pollution, somebody passed gas, whatever.
Oh! Wow!
This is kind of that. It brings your attention in a way that whether you like it or not, there's no way that you're not going to smell this and it's not gonna garner any kind of attention. Positive or negative, attention is attention.
Look at me!
But don't get it twisted. For me, it's all positive. It's deep, it's resinous, it's incensey, it's woody. It's a gorgeous shisha style tobacco, ultra smoky. And not to mention the performance of this fragrance. Nothing. I mean, it's crazy the longer that the shit sits on the shelf. Nothing under a 12-hour period. Sillage, performance, density, thickness, richness, just full-blown fucking awesome. So yeah, this shit's gonna be a grail in my collection. I don't know anybody who dislikes this fragrance. This shit is a beast. Next one. You're not gonna find it. You're gonna be upset about it. This or any of the other videos, I don't need you to buy shit. Don't look for it. Don't buy it. Don't spend your money. Keep it in your pocket. Go buy a nice little tomahawk steak, a little Cuban sandwich, a par de croquetas. Don't buy anything, because this one you're definitely not gonna find. 𝗙𝐼𝐿𝐒, oh my god, one of the most incredible amber fragrances, period. I hate that they discontinued this, or apparently they repackaged it. I don't know what the repackaging is. Somebody leave it in the comments below. This is just regal, ultra sexy, creative, distinctive. There's so much beauty in this joint that it's difficult to even describe. This is what an amber fragrance should smell like all across the board. If I can categorize amber in the dictionary, it's like, what does amber smell like? This shit, a unicorn, the Loch Ness monster, the chupacabra. Shit that you've never experienced, never seen, never felt before is what I feel in this scent. I'm sorry that you can't find it. This isn't your grail list, is mine, and this is absolutely a grail. I don't even want to touch this joint. If this falls, I will cry. Next one. This next fragrance is also difficult to get in the US. A lot of people have been running to try to get their own bottle, but it has been quite difficult, so you got the exclusivity factor. But most importantly is the projection, the performance, and the DNA. The DNA of this sweet, very sweet fragrance off of my skin surprisingly works absolutely beautifully, and that's Aaron Terrence Hughes Hard Candy Elixir. Some sweet fragrances don't work on some dudes. Like, I'm a sweet fragrance fan. I think I've become more of a gourmandy type lover the more that I've gotten into this space. Some of the sweeter fragrance notes, as long as they have a little bit of a darkness to them, a little bit of resinous, a little bit of a tobacco-y essence or ambery punches, really tend to work beautifully off me, and I attract to them. But this one being a risky fragrance with notes like strawberry followed by vanilla, and then you got additional sweetness of honey, but then trying to counteract it with a little bit of herbaceousness and freshness from lavender. All these little things kind of like, that doesn't scream dude. It screams like, sweet chick baddie. Nah, this shit hits crazy, and a couple of sprays goes a long way, my guy. This shit off of my skin, the sillage, ridiculous. The performance of this scent profile, another 10-hour plus easy. The kid knows how to make a fragrance that just sticks to you like a magnet. So for this to be kind of in the upper echelon of sweet fragrances smelling sexy on me, yeah, this shit is a grail piece. Hands down. Next one. Now this next fragrance is not only important because it's completely discontinued, but because it's handsome, classy, clean. But I love to see what this shit did in my time frame in FragCom, going from an unknown, nobody cared about redheaded stepchild $30 scent profile, which then skyrocketed into another stratosphere of price point and sex appeal and exclusivity from a prestigious luxury house that does high-end jewelry for decades, even a century. Van Cleef & Arpels Midnight in Paris. You got the beautiful galaxy style bottle with that gradient brew presentation. You got the little chrome accents on the side of the bottle, giving it a little bit of an old school pearl/jewel kind of DNA. And this is kind of like an OG ultimate powdery scent. The powder in here is not what you would think of like in a Dior Homme kind of vibe. This is like full-blown Johnson & Johnson has chemicals that's gonna give you the cancers, but it's so fucking classy. Like, I'm gonna rock this shit today, like that kind of class. It's like $70 right there.
Well, that's a business expense, isn't it?
Super clean, very airy, ultra powdery, full-blown class. This is gentlemanly.edu, because you're gonna learn today what gentleman smells like. Very clean, ultra classy, with beautiful performance. Now this isn't even the EDP concentration, which fetches a little bit more coin than this one, but this one does absolutely fine. I've only smelled a sample of the EDP, and it didn't stray enough away for me to have interest at that time. Because again, this had zero hype. I was just like, nah, I'll just spend the 30 fucking bucks on this joint and keep it pushing. But when I tell you that this is a grail piece of sophistication and elegance, yeah, it's fire. Now in this one, another discontinued gem. You can potentially find this joint, you just gotta shop it around. But it's such an amazing designer tobacco fragrance that had little to no hype till after it was discontinued. Not until the reviewers got their paws on it and really started like putting the old fresh version to the side, figuring, yeah, this shit is good and it gets wild compliments, but this one, it's its darker counterpart. This one is bolder, more mature. That sweet pipish tobacco on Versace Men is crazy. I'm scared to use this fragrance, to be honest with you. God damn, it's still fucking... Bro, let me give it a $40 spray. My guy. Amber, tobacco, kind of like an allspice blend. A little bit of like a cottony wool sweater. Warm, sexy, fucking voluptuous, ultra handsome, debonair. There's a little bit of a black licorice undertone in this scent as well. At least that's what I'm getting in the air. Pure class, amazing, definitely a grail piece. I rarely reach for this joint, and now that I sprayed it in the air, and I have to move it to the front of the line. And finally, the most important fragrance in my entire collection. Now, I've mentioned this fragrance in the past. This is a fragrance that it can go rotten and it's gonna still be in my collection. It's a little morbid and I hate to end on this note, but it's not, I shouldn't say it's morbid, it's not morbid, it's celebratory. Let's change the fucking narrative. It's celebratory. And it's Van Cleef & Arpels 𝗙𝗏. This was one of my grandfather, the OG in the fragrance space. I like to call him the cleanest mechanic you have ever smelled in your life. The man smelled amazing 24/7. He's the reason why my fragrance obsession is here. He's the reason why I love clones. He's the reason why I appreciate a man smelling good no matter what his profession, what he's doing, date, time, doesn't matter. You should always have some sort of smell on you. This was one of the fragrances that he reached for when he went out. When he threw on a suit, the man had a closet full of suits. They still had tags on it. I definitely got the gene of like hoarding and buying shits in bundles. He had suits with tags on them still because he could have found it at Marshall's. He was like, yo, they had a wild deal for 3 suits for $100. You're never gonna get this again. He was that type of individual. With fragrances the same. We had cabinets in our kitchen. In the hood, that the cabinets in the kitchen where you're supposed to have plates and fine china for some of y'all who had that shit was full of fragrance. His closet in the hallway with coats and shit, the top, full of fragrance, fragrance oils, his own mixes, perfumers, alcohol, the whole shit. So this was one of his fragrances, and it happened to be the last fragrance that he wore because I buried him in this scent. I made sure that even when he got sick and towards the end of his life, he always had fragrance. He had a little napkin. I always had the napkin, sprayed the napkin heavy, just doused it till it was drenched. Boom, give him his little rub. He always needed fragrance around. Whenever I got any clones or dupes or whatever, I would bring them all to the crib, leave them in his house, put one by the bed, make sure he sprayed one. He didn't care what it was towards the end. He was just like, yo, I just need to smell good. So when he passed at the wake, I made sure that I gave everybody their space. We had our moment. I sprayed him down with his fragrance. I made sure that he went on to wherever he's going on in the next life into glory and opening up the gates as the best smelling motherfucker walking through the room. So this by far, if everything else fucking burns down, this one has to be there. This particular bottle, this means the world to me. This is everything to me. I can't smell it without crying, but this is the most important shit. I'm getting emotional, so let's cut this fucking video off. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. These are the 8 legendary grail fragrances in my collection that have importance to me and are considered grails to me. Have you tried any of these fragrances, and do you have grails in your collection? Leave it in the comments below because I'm curious, and maybe we'll review them and share some of your grail pieces in a future video. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. You know who it is, the biggest in the game. Smooch.
Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense, you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you